Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. In this video, I'm going to highlight a report showing that a particular group of banks holds $205 million worth of XRP. And that doesn't mean that that's all that banks on this planet hold. That just means within this particular group, these banks have $205 million worth of XRP. Well, that's a headline you don't hear every day, isn't it? Kind of bodes well for the future, don't you think? Kind of sounds crazy. You know, these risk-averse banking institutions holding XRP and other cryptocurrencies. And here you can see the headline on your screen from the Crypto Basic. 19 banks report exposure to XRP, in total 9.4 billion euro investment positions. And that 9.4 billion in euros comes out to about $10.2 billion. And so XRP is only a certain small percentage of it, but I'm just saying, things are going the right direction. Then there's this headline from the Crypto Basic. Pro XRP lawyer celebrates massive XRP portfolio growth. That's right. We got Attorney Hogan. Pretty excited about the sweet XRP returns. But I'll tell you what, eventually when we reach face melt season, I think that Attorney Hogan will be much more satisfied with the returns. And then there's also this headline, excuse me, from Crypto Basic. US $33 trillion debt pile makes bullish cash for XRP. Forbes. And so they're basically talking about the idea of the dollar collapsing and that resulting in a dramatic surge in the price of Bitcoin and XRP specifically. But before going further ado, and be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I'm not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so let's talk about banks and XRP. Banks from North America, Europe, and other parts of the world have declared investments in crypto assets, with XRP holding prominent positions. The Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, or BCBS for short, a foremost global authority on regulation for banks, has published a report capturing the exposures of its 45 member central banks on cryptocurrencies such as XRP. And so I went through the report myself. I didn't literally read the whole thing, but skimmed over the relevant. Well, I skimmed through the whole thing and then read the relevant portions. But I will note that this is on the Bank for International Settlements official website. Anyway, piece continues. BCBS noted that its committee had undertaken various analytical and supervisory initiatives in response to cryptocurrency over the last 5 years. It mentioned a novel crypto data collection template was implemented as a component of these efforts. In the report, BCBS stated that 19 banks submitted crypto asset data. Of this total, 10 banks came from North America, 7 from Europe, and 2 from other regions. It disclosed that the banks collectively reported 9.4 billion euros in crypto asset exposure, or $10.27 billion. Meanwhile, the report highlighted that crypto exposures exhibit an uneven distribution among reporting banks. Specifically, 2 banks account for over half of the total, and 4 additional banks represent just under 40% of the remaining exposure. Well, folks, I don't find that to be particularly surprising. I mean, there's going to be whales in, like, break it down however you want to. I mean, there's whales of the United States dollar. And so there are certain banks that are going to have more dollars. Right? I mean, it's like, to me, that's not surprising. So you can talk about a different asset that's of value. In this case, we're talking about crypto, we're talking about Bitcoin, we're talking about XRP and some others. Yeah, makes all the sense in the world. It's not something that's unique to XRP or crypto, I'm just saying. Anyway, piece continues. According to the Basel Committee findings, XRP ranked as the 3rd largest altcoin in which the reporting banks disclosed commitments. Specifically, it was identified that XRP constituted 2% of the total exposure of 9.4 billion euros. This percentage translates to total XRP positions worth 188 million euros, or $205 million. And so, folks, it has taken over a decade to get to this point, but here we are, and it's still just the beginning. This is going to be the norm. You know, there's only about 4% of humans on the planet that have ever held crypto at any point in time. Way less than 1% of humans have ever held XRP at any point in time. But we will reach a point where it's the norm. And most people, of course, use XRP or crypto in general for various things. And so when you get to that point where crypto is just broadly used, this number is going to look like a joke. So it's fantastic to see this, but it's going to be way, way, way bigger than that. And banks will be custodying XRP and other cryptocurrencies the world over. It'll be commonplace. So it's just exciting to be at this early point where adoption hasn't really substantially caught up, because if it had already happened, that would mean that the opportunity's gone. But the fact that it hasn't yet, but you can see directionally where it's going, that's what's exciting about this. The writing's on the wall, folks. It's just one more thing to look at. We can see it, though. And it's just amazing because it's just like, yes, there's millions of us in the XRP community, or at least millions of holders. I don't know if every XRP holder would consider themselves to be part of the community, but that sounds like a lot, but it is. I mean, millions of people, but in the scheme of things, if you just consider there's over 8 billion humans, it's almost no one. Like we are part of a small group of holders of XRP that are in the know, and most people are not in the know. Most people have no idea that XRP even exists. So kudos to you for being here and paying attention to all this, because it's kind of a big deal. Next story, pro XRP lawyer celebrates massive XRP portfolio growth. And for this one, this is just kind of a fun little post he put out, so I thought I'd just highlight it. So I'm not gonna read the article. I'm gonna go straight to the post that they were referencing here, because I kind of got a kick out of this, and I get his point actually. He wrote, "Dear CT," which of course is crypto Twitter, even though Twitter is now known as X. He wrote, "Dear CT, in what world is my 60% gain in XRP over the last 2 to 3 years bad? If I could have done 20% per year since I was 25, I'd be retired by now. Truly, Boomer Jeremy." Boomer Jeremy. And so we shared this screen grab, and he put little smileys over the relevant portions so that you don't know how much of these assets he's holding, Bitcoin and XRP. That's what's on your screen right here. But he's noting it's up 60%. And it is kind of funny to think about it like that. I somewhat frequently think about that. It's like, oh, my XRP is only up, depending on what the price is. Like the other day when it was at almost 75 cents, and I was like, oh, I'm only up 200% at that point in time. And it's come back down a little bit since then, and my average buying price is 25 cents. So a 3x increase, which is 200% up at that particular moment in time. And I was sitting there thinking that, and I was like, I'm not satisfied with that, but what is wrong with me? It's just because in the world of crypto, we know the real answer, right? It's because obviously in the world of crypto, we should expect the wild gains. And if you're just talking about 60% in crypto, I get it. For crypto, that's bad. But it is like, those are, in any other circumstance, those are wild returns. And so even just being up 60%, like it is reasonable to be happy about that. He should be happy about that. But the good news is, if we're gonna, if he's gonna be one of the people to hold on here longer, and I don't know what human will be selling at these price levels, but if he is one of the people that's gonna hang on, when face melt season hits, I have a feeling that he's going to be much, much, much happier than just 60%. But no, I mean, I'm being honest. Like, I'm happy that my XRP is up the amount that it is, because just historically speaking, it is good. And yes, I'm mad at the SEC, not furiously mad. Sometimes it grinds my gears a bit when I think about it, but I mostly have pretty well let that go. At least in terms of it, having an emotional response to me. Like, I don't want the SEC to have that kind of control over my emotions, you know what I mean? But it just is what it is. It's kind of funny that we live in a world where we can actually look at things like this, And then there's this. Now look, oh my God. The United States dollar. What a train wreck, man. Like, what a disaster that thing is, right? The global reserve, and it's on fire. Like, it's just debasing, just printing the damn thing into oblivion, into complete and utter irrelevance. And it's not happening overnight, but unless there's a particular change in course, the writing's on the wall. We've seen this movie play out before, in other historic periods, other nations, many of which don't even exist anymore. When you debase your fiat currency like this, it won't continue to be a fiat currency forever. You can't get away with this forever. It's just not possible. So this may or may not happen in my lifetime or yours, but it's an inevitability if they don't change. And I don't see any indication that we're going to stop printing the dollar into oblivion. Do you? I sure as hell don't. And so at some point you will reach a time where it's reasonable to suppose that there could be a cryptocurrency or multiple cryptocurrencies that fill the role of global reserve instead of the United States dollar, because it'll be irrelevant. And so then in terms of what's going to happen, like if you see the dollar collapse, the theory posited here is that it'll just be, it'll result in a moonshot for XRP and Bitcoin specifically. And it may be the broader crypto asset class, sure, but I don't know. I just keep thinking about the degree to which, and depending on how it unfolds, the degree to which the entire world will be on fire, actually. Hopefully just figuratively, but probably not at that point. And I look at that and I'm just thinking, who's going to be doing what, putting what where, and does it actually flow into crypto? Or does that bleed out too? But see, that's the thing. Value's got to go somewhere, right? And you would think that if you're having some sort of crazy runaway inflation situation, whatever it looks like when the thing finally comes down, would that be the point where people are finally like, yes? Because right now, XRP and Bitcoin are just treated like risk-on assets, historically, since the inception of crypto. Now, I don't know it's always going to be like that, but that's kind of what's interesting, makes it fun to talk about this, because we're just talking theory. We're speculating here about what the future might look like. Piece reads as follows. Billy Bambro, a senior contributor at Forbes, has recently asserted that the U.S. monetary system is teetering on the brink of a collapse, with digital assets such as XRP now positioned at a focal point for positive impact. Specifically, the Forbes article highlighted that concerns over the U.S. dollar's potential collapse have intensified, with a shocking $33.7 trillion inflation warning from the U.S. Federal Reserve. According to the report, the dire prediction makes a compelling bullish case for leading cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and XRP. And so I don't need to read the whole article, but they go on to talk about the idea of the U.S. death spiral. Well, duh. You know, it's not that I want it to happen. It's that there are idiots in charge that are making sure that it will eventually happen at some unknown point in the future. So I still kind of hope that's way, way, way out. I hope that I never see it. I don't pretend to know for sure. I don't think that we're it doesn't look like it's something that's imminently going to happen, but it does to me look like an inevitability. So, I mean, in terms of just what's rational, I would think if something like that happens, the U.S. dollar no longer is a thing. It's worth nothing. And then, that means that something's got to fill that gap of global reserve. You would think under such circumstances, people would recognize the actual value of having cryptocurrencies, which cannot be debased because it's computer code. Governments and central authorities can't debase them, right? Wouldn't that be where the actual value goes? And since XRP has been here practically from the beginning and it's actually useful, wouldn't a ton of that, whatever is going to be the value, wouldn't that flow in? I mean, you would think that there'd just be greater adoption of that. Like, why? Logically thinking, why would that not happen? And if you have an interesting theory as to why it wouldn't, you let me know. But to me, that makes all the sense in the world. It's a very compelling reason to be in crypto in the first place. But I'm also not one of these doomsday. Like, there are some people that just think it's about to happen. We're on the precipice of this type of situation, like, every day. And I don't really buy that. But, I mean, just trying to think through this rationally, I still do think it's an inevitability. And so why wouldn't people then, because you're talking about a dramatic, when that happens, that is a lost in trust of whatever government is running that, whatever currency is collapsing. And you can see what just happened in Argentina, right? So, which is going to take on the dollar, which is kind of funny because it'll take on another piece of crap, but obviously the Argentine peso was even worse. But I'm just saying, like, why wouldn't you just recognize, blockchain technology solves the problem? Like, the solution is already there. To me, it just seems obvious. Let me know what you think, though. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.